Hey everybody! So e-commerce has gotten pretty big recently, hasn't it? I mean, it's basically become the primary way for people to buy stuff, and it also gives business owners and content creators the chance to up their revenue. Of course, you probably don't want to make an e-commerce site from scratch. That sort of thing can be really expensive, and besides, there are perfectly affordable and high quality platforms out there that can ease you into the whole process. So today, I'm going to be comparing a couple of the most well-known e-commerce platforms out there, Shopify and Woocommerce. So sit back and relax while I fill you in on all the details. Okay, how about we start off by comparing the pricing? If you have ever used Shopify before, then you will know that there are 4 different pricing tiers you can go for. Basically, you've got the light plan for $9 per month, the basic plan for $29 a month, the standard plan that'll run you $79 per month, and finally, you've got the super pricey advanced plan, which costs a whopping $299 a month. Now, you probably won't go for the higher price tiers unless you run a big business. And honestly, if your e-commerce setup is ranking in the big bucks, you might as well spring for the advanced plan because the features are actually quite impressive. But I'll get into the features in a minute. Let's just focus on the pricing for now. There are also those commission fees to consider, which can differ based on the subscription plan you go for, by the way. The light and basic plans both charge 2.9% of the sales price plus 30 cents. In fact, all of the subscription plans charge an extra 30 cents. But with that said, the commission percentage goes down to 2.6% for the standard plan and 2.4% for the advanced plan. That might not sound like a lot, but saving pennies on the dollar can make a huge difference when you start ramping up the volume of your sales. Trust me, I was skeptical about the potential savings too, but I could see the difference in my profits. And besides, every penny counts whenever you're trying to maintain the right cash flow for your business. Okay, so now that we've talked about Shopify's pricing tiers, let's see how WooCommerce compares. The first thing that drew me to the platform was they don't charge you for a subscription. Now, I immediately noticed that there are commission charges based on the payment provider that you use. So for example, Stripe, PayPal, and Authorize.net all charge 2.9%, but there's a difference in the flat fee. If you use Stripe, you'll pay 30-cent flat fee per transaction, which goes up to 49 cents for PayPal. As for Authorize.net, you pay 30 cents per transaction, plus a $25 a month subscription fee. To be fair, these rates are pretty comparable with Shopify, especially considering those subscription costs. But get this, while WooCommerce won't charge you a monthly subscription fee, they will charge you for any service or tool that you will end up needing. For example, you definitely need a landing page for your shop. Guess who pays for the hosting? That's right, you do. The same goes for the domain registration, SSL certification, and any plugins you integrate. In my experience, WooCommerce was way more expensive than Shopify, but the costs were a lot harder to figure out. I'm giving Shopify a 4.5 out of 5 for its straightforward pricing. WooCommerce gets a 3 out of 5 because the claim that they don't charge you anything just isn't true at all. Now let's move on to the user experience comparison to see what's what. If you want to get ahead in the e-commerce game, you really need to prioritize a platform with a good user experience. One thing to note before I continue, WooCommerce was not designed for regular e-commerce business owners. When I started using it, I realized that it's geared more towards programmers or even designers. Or at least that's just the impression I got from using it, just because how difficult everything was. Like, having to set up and register my own domain was easy enough, but installing plugins and themes was a bit outside of my skill set. I guess if you're familiar with things like WordPress and web development, you might have an easier time, but I'm just looking to sell my products here. Now, I will say that the dashboard was easy enough to navigate. Once you've got your site up and running, you can start adding products with just a click or two. It's just that getting to that point is very difficult. You might just quit before the finish line. That's definitely not something you'll have to worry about on Shopify though. As soon as I set up my account, the platform laid out a step-by-step process for anyone to follow. I mean, for real, I considered putting like a monkey in front of my computer and seeing how it fared, because that's literally how easy the setup process was. You'll have an active e-commerce site in literally no time, and the dashboard is basically as easy to use as WooCommerce. Now, this simplicity does come at a cost. Basically, if you're the sort of person that likes to tinker around on the back end, Shopify can be frustratingly limiting. There just aren't that many customization options outside of the drag and drop widgets and templates you can add. WooCommerce is a completely open source platform, which means that it's basically waiting for you to shape it how you see fit. I can definitely see the temptation some folks might get when looking at all those possibilities, but I personally like my platforms to be super simple. No beating around the bush, no fancy code, just good old-fashioned business. That's why I'm giving Shopify a 4 out of 5 here, and WooCommerce gets a 3.5 out of 5. I kept the difference to half a point because people with developing experience will definitely get more out of WooCommerce than, for example, I did. But for the vast majority of the e-commerce crowd, Shopify's ease of use will always win. Next up, I'm gonna talk about the features each platform offers. There are a lot of tools you need in the e-commerce game, like tax calculators, payment processors, shipping integrators, and a whole lot more. You know what I love about Shopify? All of these tools are available right out of the box. You also get unlimited bandwidth with all of the packages except for the dirt cheap light package, and honestly, you can't expect features like that for just $9 a month. Features like abandoned cart recovery also can help you keep those conversion rates higher. I personally managed to bag an extra customer that almost lost their cart, which meant an extra sale for me and a more convenient experience for the customer at the end of the day. Oh, and by the way, you're not just limited to online sales with Shopify. You see, if you order their POS kit, you can start making offline sales as well. That's definitely not something I got from Woocommerce, but there are a few things that set them apart. For starters, I was absolutely blown away by just how many themes it had. Like, you get about 123 themes on Shopify, which is pretty decent, but over on WooCommerce, your options are literally unlimited. Sure, some themes might cost a bit of money, but even if you look at the free ones, you're truly spoiled for choice. And there's another massive advantage to using WooCommerce you should know about. I'm talking about those unlimited coupon codes. Coupons can be a great way to get customers, and especially new customers, interested in your products. And with WooCommerce, you can create as many as you like for whatever product you want to get off your shelves. Now, on the other hand, Shopify lets you offer discounts too, but they're capped at about 20 million. And if you think that's more than you'll need, you're just thinking really small. Just imagine what your business will be like 10 or 20 years down the line. Do you really feel like you'll never cross 20 million customers? In situations like that, WooCommerce definitely comes out on top. But at the end of the day, overall, I'd say that these platforms are pretty much evenly matched in the features department. So 4 out of 5 for both of them seems fair. Despite that, Shopify wins out in the end with a final score of 12.5 out of 15. You have to pay for a subscription, sure, but you save a ton of money in the bargain. The features are great and easy to use, and overall, it's basically the best option I've used for e-commerce. WooCommerce final score ended up being a 10.5 out of 15, which was a little disappointing. I just couldn't get over how expensive it could all get despite the claims that they don't have any pricing tier. And while the customization and customability could be useful, it involves a learning curve that most of us just wouldn't want to get through. After all, are you looking to start an e-commerce business or become a web developer? The choice is as clear as your answer. Also, if you haven't signed up for Shopify, just use the link down below to get started with it. So what do you think? Will you use either of these platforms and give them a try? Let me know your thoughts if you do, but that's all I have for now. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.